Hey folks, welcome to the Cause and Effect. This is Unit 5, Lesson 1, where we learn what happened to make something happen. So our learning goals today are I can evaluate whether evidence supports a thesis or not, and I can explain how word choices changes the meaning of a text. So first, what is cause and effect? So a cause is something that makes something else happen. An effect is a change in the status quo as a result of some cause. So status quo sort of means the current situation, right? So let's say I have a glass of ice water and I set it out in the sun, right? The status quo for that glass of ice water is that there is ice and water in the glass. Now the sun is really hot and it melts the ice, right? So the cause is the sun being really hot. The effect is the ice melting, right? And that is a change to its status quo, okay? There can also be more than one cause for any given event, and there can also be more than one effect, okay? So, let's see. The cause of the ice melting is that the sun is really hot, so the effect is that my ice melts, but the other effect might also be that my water gets warm, right? So there's two effects for this event. Causes, let's say, we could also say me leaving it outside is another cause. So leaving it outside, it being in the sun, the warm air, all of those things are causes to the effect of the ice melting and the water getting warm. And when you put a cause and effect together, you get an event, right? You put all of those things together and you get an event. So let's look at some cause and effects. Cause, we are out of apples. The effect, I went to the store. So to put that together as an event, we might say, we are out of apples, so I went to the store. And so is one of our signal words. It connects the cause and the effect together. You can also write this the other way. I went to the store because we are out of apples. That does not change what is the effect and what is the cause. Okay, so we want to pay attention to what happened first, not what is written first, right? So I went to the store is what happened, and after I found out we were out of apples. So we ran out of apples, so I went to the store, or I went to the store because we are out of apples, okay? Here's another example. Cause, it is getting cold out. Effect, I put on a jacket. The event, it is getting cold out, so I put on a jacket. I put on a jacket because it's getting cold out. Again, you can write it either direction, but that doesn't change what the cause is or what the effect is. Remember, the effect is what happens because the cause happens, right? Okay. So right here, what is the cause? Adrian laughed because Nieva told a joke. What is the cause? Right, so if you said Nieva telling the joke is the cause, correct, because that has to happen before Adrian can laugh, right? And it's the signal word because tells us this is what caused Adrian to laugh. Very good. Let's try this one. Which is the effect? Destiny stayed up late studying, which is why she was so tired this morning. Which one is the effect? Right, okay, so Destiny stayed up late studying, which is why she was tired this morning. The effect is that she is tired this morning. Why is she tired? Because she stayed up late studying. Good for you, Destiny. Alright. So here's a list of our signal words. Remember, we got because, since, consequently, this, led to, so, if, then, nevertheless, accordingly, because of, as a result of, in order to, may be due to, yet, for this reason, not only, but also so, because, since, therefore, reason, why, effect of. Whew, it's a lot of them. Now, some of these get attached to the cause, and some of them get attached to the effect, but they are always bridging the cause to the effect. They connect these two ideas. So cause words are because, since, if, because of, as a result of, effect of, this led to, due to. Effect are things like consequently, so, then, accordingly, in order to, for this reason, therefore, reason why. All right, so we might say, since we are out of apples, I went to the store. I went to the store because we are out of apples, right? We are out of apples. Consequently, I went to the store. We are out of apples. For this reason, I went to the store, right? So these can be attached on their different sides. We also have some special ones right here. Yet, nevertheless, not only, but also. These sort of, so like yet and nevertheless sort of act like a but, right? So it's something like, we walked up the mountain all day, and we're very tired. Yet, we kept going. So it's sort of like in spite of, so there's still an effect, right? We kept walking, even though we have this cause, and nevertheless works the same way. I studied all night. Nevertheless, I still failed the quiz, right? Sad for me. But nevertheless still connects the two ideas in a cause and effect relationship. But it's saying, I did this, and yet still this other bad thing happened, or this other good thing happened, or whatnot. These are sort of special cases. So different words are going to carry different meanings, right? So depending on our word choice, we might change the meaning of something. So I ate a whole box of crackers because I felt sick. Why did I feel sick? We don't know. What did I do because I felt sick? Right, ate a whole box of crackers. So in this one, the cause is I felt sick, and the effect is I ate a whole box of crackers. What about here? Which one of these is the cause? Right, so it's flipped. I ate a whole box of crackers, so I felt sick. Right? I ate a whole box of crackers, that's the cause, so I felt sick. By changing the connection word, right, we change the meaning of these two sentences. Let's try another one. I went to the doctor and she said I was fine. Therefore, I can play video games tonight. Which one of these is the effect? Right, being able to play video games tonight is the effect, right? And the reason is because you get to do that because the doctor said you were fine. So here, let's look how that changes when I say I wanted to play video games tonight. For this reason, I went to the doctor and she said I was fine. Here, where is the effect? Good, it flips, right? I went to the doctor and she said I was fine. For this reason, I went. That's what you did because you wanted to play video games for tonight. By changing just a few words, you completely flip the meaning of what you said, right? Good. All right, so let's look at annotation for this kind of text. So annotating, here we have the Armenian and Azerbaijan, the conflict explained. This is adapted from a New York Times article by Andrew E. Kramer, right? So this is a current event. It's happening right now, October 17, 2020. There's a major conflict, a major fight between Armenia and Azerbaijan going on right now. So let's look if we can find any connection words. Armenia and Azerbaijan have been fighting for decades, especially in the Nagorno-Karabakh region, because it is part of the Azerbaijan. It is part of Azerbaijan, but is home to ethnic Armenian people. All right, so there's a good word right there, because, right? So what we're saying here is this is getting worse in this region because it's owned by Azerbaijan, but the people are Armenian, right? This time the conflict is different. This is due to the fact, that's one of our words, due to the fact that Turkey has offered more direct support to Azerbaijan and the scale of the fighting. Okay, so due to the fact, okay, so our effect is the conflict is different. Why? This is due to the fact because Turkey is giving more support to Azerbaijan and the scale of fighting has changed. That's why the conflict is different, right? This is a result of both sides using drones and long-range rockets. And see, now we have an effect. Even though this was a cause earlier, right, for it being different, now it's the effect. And what is the cause? Both sides using drones and long-range rockets. Okay, so in here, there's a thesis, and the thesis is that Armenia and Azerbaijan, right, the fighting is getting worse, is our thesis statement, right? And we need to find evidence that supports that thesis statement. Does this evidence support this thesis statement? And so to do that, we're going to kind of practice that a little bit, right? So green Jello is the best flavor of Jello, right? That's our thesis statement. And we have two pieces of evidence. Green Jello is the best-selling Jello each year, and more people say their favorite Jello is red Jello. So this piece of evidence definitely supports this, right? It's linked to it. It's both talking about green Jello. This is positive about green Jello, whereas this one is saying something about red Jello and how it's other people's favorite, which is conflicting with this thesis statement. So if I'm going to make a judgment, right? So if I'm trying to write my thesis, green Jello is the best flavor of Jello, I'm going to end up ignoring this piece of evidence and only writing in the other piece. So green Jello is the best flavor of Jello. This is because, why did I spell Jello like that? This is because green Jello is the best-selling Jello each year. And I keep doing that. See how that works? So I have my thesis and I have a piece of evidence that supports my thesis, right? All right, how about this? Dogs are man's best friends, right? Dogs are incredibly loyal and often protect their owners. Dogs run away more than any other animal. So if this is my thesis, dogs are man's best friend, which one of these two pieces of evidence do I want to include? Yeah, so this is because dogs are incredibly loyal and often protect their owners. Very good, right? Because this one proves this one to be true. And that's kind of what we mean by supports the thesis. The evidence helps prove this to be true. Something that will help us figure out that evidence and whether it supports it is to organize it, right? So cause and effect can be organized in a couple of different ways. We got multiple causes for one effect, multiple effects to one cause, or you might have a mix where causes create some sort of effect, which then becomes a cause, right? All right, so if we're trying to organize that, you can see I did one already. It is home to ethnic Armenian, but located in Azerbaijan. The effect is that fighting in Nagorno-Karabakh is especially bad, right? I might also say something like, Turkey has offered more direct support. This has created a stronger military response. And so then both sides are using rockets. The scale of the fighting is larger, right? And you'll notice I have little arrows right here, so we can create arrows using the line tool. Click, click, boom. Click, click, boom. Alright. And so the thesis here is the fighting is getting worse between Armenia and Azerbaijan. And then what I have to sort of do is look at this evidence and decide whether or not this is true. The fighting is getting especially bad. There are stronger military responses. The scale of the fighting is larger. So we're kind of going to look at the effects of all these causes. And I would say that all of this evidence does say that the fighting is getting worse between Azerbaijan, right? So is the conflict getting worse? Yes, because there's more military power being used in the region. Kind of create that into a thesis and then look at this evidence. All right, congratulations, you're done. Head off and do the We Do for Unit 5, Lesson 1.